welcome to the Untitled Podcast, episode whatever. In today's episode, we have multiple guests. We have one more than what's entailed on this background image, which was lazily made in Photoshop. Introduce yourself, Hex.
Hey.
This image was also made when he was not part of the podcast and then joined in halfway through the call, so that's why it said dead on it. He's not dead anymore, to clarify. We also have Joey.
Oh, you're still using that one?
Yes, we're still using that one. It was the one preset on OBS, so we also have Joey.
Don't question it. Shut up.
Alright, Fizz.
Hi, I'm Fizzleburger. If your time's really valuable and you don't have enough time to, say all those syllables, call me Fizz.
Who is also a registered sex offender.
That is either slander or libel. I don't know which.
I should have said my name is not a JoJo reference. Because it's not.
And then the one who isn't on the slide. Hello, Isher.
Hello. Unlike Fizz, if your time is too valuable to say my whole name, you probably shouldn't be watching this podcast.
Wow, okay. And this was originally going to be a Ruby episode where we talked about Ruby, but then the other person who was going to be part of this podcast dipped on us last second. Like 5 minutes after we were supposed to record the episode. Said, yeah, we can't make it. But now we just decided, hey, let's talk. Now let's talk.
Talk.
So
The best conversations start with no blueprint whatsoever.
Yeah, dude.
Pretty much.
Or topic.
But,
So, about 2020.
No. We are not getting into this topic.
Look, I'm just saying that while it looks random at first, most of it's just the consequences of our action. So really, in hindsight, it's 2020.
This podcast is 2020.
I believe every time I make that joke,
We're off to the
20
we're off to
d20
the
psychic damage.
we're off to the best start. Ethan and Ela fight me.
The HRHC podcast is a mess. All I can think about is that one clip where he's like, women are in nature, by predominance, are meant to be conquered. And then you have this then you just have, Filthy Frank in the background. I forget his name. It starts with like a J or something. Joji.
Joji.
Yeah, you have Joji sitting in the background, who played Pink Eye, aka one of the edgiest personas on YouTube, just going like,
My name, but with an I at the end instead of an O.
Yeah, but I still find it funny that even he was like, maybe you shouldn't say that. But
Filthy Frank was a good gimmick. I like that.
But the official motto of the Untitled Podcast now, because I'm just lazy and I haven't decided any topics yet. This is a podcast where we talk about whatever we want, however we want, whenever we want to. So we originally were going to have a podcast a month and a half ago, but then I realized after editing it that I in fact fucked up and had audio mixing all wrong. So there was a little fucking rubric thing I had laid out in regards to topics that I'm going to attempt to find now. So you guys just hold conversation real quick. Talk about whatever you want. You know what? Talk about anime. Talk about anime you've watched recently. Talk about those trashy isekais you watch, Fizz.
Oh boy, the trashiest.
Yeah.
Oh no.
What is the last isekai I watched? I want to say Princess Connect. That was a pretty good time.
The last isekai I watched was Konosuba.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a really good one. The movie was even better. It was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw that movie. That was fun. I haven't seen the show at all. Not one episode, but I like the movie.
Show's worthwhile. Princess Connect, I think, has the same director. I just kind of threw myself into that because She-Ra had just ended, and I had not yet had my fix on Tsundere Cat Girls.
Man, you guys remember going to see movies in theaters?
God,
Yeah.
we would have
Oh
seen.
my
I would have
god.
seen
What
Venom
year is
2.
that?
Venom 2 should have been out already by like September. No, October 1st.
I was actually fortunate enough that I live near enough to a really small theater that I was able to go see Tenet, and like me and my dad were the only two people in the whole theater, and it was a jam. Like Tenet, strongly recommend. Like if you're a Chris Nolan fan, you've probably already seen it, but if you haven't, like wait for that shit to come on DVD so you don't have to risk your health going to a theater, and then watch the shit out of it. Preferably with subtitles. I have opinions on the audio mix. Those opinions are that you should watch it with subtitles. That was it.
I'm still trying to find that, and when I do find it, I'm going to.
Viewers, if you can't tell yet, we haven't planned anything out.
I'm all right. Just so you know, I'm attempting to
Excuse
go.
me, we haven't planned anything out.
I haven't
think
planned
there's
it.
one person in charge of it.
Hey! Hold on.
I'm walking it.
I'm walking here, but I'm attempting to find the old file. God, I should have looked for this a bit before the podcast.
The file that he just linked us is so dated that it says KDA released a new song, and it was the song that came out before the last one, the music video that came out last night.
Oh, that's something we can talk about. KDA and their use of mental health as a marketing ploy.
Wait, what?
Sorry, what?
Huh?
So KDA added a new character to their roster this year, and she got in a bit of a controversy in regards to really marketing ploys with her, because she fucking, how do I say it nicely? She talks like she's
You
a real
don't.
human. She talks like a real human being, but she's not. I mean, like all of her tweets now are literally just her like avatar. In regards to, I'm throwing the Twitter account over in spam, and I'm gonna try and find it now. But it was like something along the lines of, I'm having such a hard time getting through this right now. I'm attempting to find it. God, this is a real bad. But yeah, they were like sort of using mental health as a marketing ploy in regards to just like selling her as like a real being, even though she's not a real human being. She's obviously something that we made up in regards to. Where the fuck is that tweet? She probably deleted it in all honesty.
Okay, so they created a character with mental illness, and
Pretty much.
you think it's a marketing stunt?
I mean, yeah. Let's see. Katie or Seraphine.
Riot spends not a significant amount of time, money, and effort to make Seraphine relatable to people with emotional distress / mental health issues, creating emotional connection to the idea of a character. Then they drop an ultimate skin for her to cash in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Here's the exact tweet I was talking about. We're about to go to Shanghai in 2 days, and it's finally setting in, all at once. I've been working so hard, I've been trying my best to love myself, but I still can't find the confidence I need. I'm realizing that I can't do this alone, and maybe I need to be the one to ask for help. So could someone give me some encouraging words? I need something to believe in right now. And then that was tweeted October 10th, and then October 11th she tweeted out, I don't think I'll ever be ready, but I know there's people believing in me, and that's more than enough. A heart emoji. Thank you so much. I mean it sincerely. I'm gonna face this head on. And it's like a little cork board with a bunch of, Stan replies or whatever, like, you do this, queen, or whatever. There's like a bunch of Twitter replies.
I'm looking at that right now. I see this. Okay.
Yeah, it's been over 10 days, but fans are not letting it go about how these posts bothered them. Natalie Forbes wrote up a full opinion piece for Fanbyte regarding her personal distaste with this marketing strategy. Some people can sometimes find comfort with parasocial relationship with celebrities, especially those who are going through similar mental health battles, but at least those celebrities are real. This person is not real. This is literally a League of Legends character given a Twitter account written by some marketing personality. And that's my problem with it.
I mean, if I'm being honest, this whole concept feels very strange to me to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I understand KDA. I'm not gonna lie.
I want to say the virtual idol thing makes more sense in like. I think it's more commonplace, at least in Asian markets. Isn't that how Hatsune Miku got her start or something?
Yeah, and that's where
yeah.
that's where VTubers are blowing up right now.
Yeah.
Like,
V2. Oh boy, don't remind me about V2.
Yeah, I was about to say, even the VTubers are virtual idols. They're still real people behind them. It's still real people behind the people who are, just dancing around a little idol or little character icon or whatever.
Right. Whereas this is like a creation of a company first, and then an actress behind it, like second or third.
Yeah, like she has a voice as a human being, since they're trying to market her, but it wasn't originally. I think this was originally meant as I don't really know how to describe it. And another thing is the official KDA account is like taking real photos of like areas, and then almost
putting the characters in there.
Yeah, almost like totally photoshopping them in there.
Those.
Yeah,
really weird looking. It's
There was one anime character that's appropriate to do with, and that's Mugi from K-On!
Yeah, Photoshop her in a picture of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of insanity. Just kind of weird to see all this. But
boy, these photos are really bad. Jeez.
Yeah, and all these like stands account are like, we still love you, Seraphine. Don't listen to the haters.
How many of those accounts are just bots, though?
I mean,
I can't really tell, but at the same time,
I mean, I could program that, and I could probably program like 1,000 of them. All you have to do is slip them past Twitter's guards against that shit.
I doubt they even need to for that. Like, there are enough people who are just like gonna heckle like, "Oh no, we love you," just hoping to get retweeted by a Riot account or something.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of like Asian markets have insane stan accounts, like stuff like BTS and stuff. That kind of stuff is. BTS has so many stans account. It's kind of insane thinking about it. But we should probably get back on topics that, not just I care about.
We have a topic?
Well, I mean, we have like a general like premise. You know what? Let's talk about something that was on the last podcast list that I remember.
I want to say I have become kind of fascinated by this weird thing now.
With Seraphine?
Oh, like, okay, the one in the KDA account where they're visiting at Louis Vuitton for a fitting session today.
Oh my god!
I remember seeing that.
It's so bad.
Yeah, they're like they're getting like apparently like actual companies involved with this marketing scheme.
Oh man!
And of course they're gonna be selling those skins later to people with Riot accounts, and they're like, "Oh yeah, go buy this Louis Vuitton, whatever main girl game."
Yeah, right. Like people who play League of Legends can afford Louis Vuitton.
but
oh my god! And look at the replies to it too. They're insane.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like there's so many just insane replies of just we love you. We love you.
It's these people hate Seraphine.
Oh yeah, well that's fair.
Yeah. God damn. Like no. I mean I have not played League of Legends in a long time, but I'm confused.
I just want to. One thing that was on the last podcast that I want to talk about again was the, or just in general now, Nintendo's sort of almost obsession with limited time games. Because there was the original. There was Super Mario 3D All Stars, which was the original one that came out a couple months ago. That was limited time, and then they're announcing a translation of the first Fire Emblem game, back on the Famicom. They just announced a 30th anniversary collection of that, and that one is also limited time, where it'll be up for like till probably around March, I think, and then it's off the eShop again.
So it sounds like they want to encourage piracy. Let's be honest.
I mean, in a sense, yes, but.
I mean, I'm going to phrase this diplomatically. When Nintendo has old software like this, that there is a way to purchase legally that supports the official release of it, then they have a strong counter-argument that, like, no, you shouldn't pirate the game, you should support the official release of it. But then when they pull that away, Nintendo, the company, does, like, they're not as credibly able to make that justification.
Mm-hmm.
So they are kind of shooting themselves in the foot here in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what I said, but like you're a little bit nicer about it, whereas I'm just calling them stupid.
I still have career aspirations within the video game industry. I'm trying desperately not to burn a bridge.
Fair.
Yeah. But in a situation where you don't give access to a product, and it's only secondhand prices, people are going to resort to means that may not be legal. Once again, this podcast does not endorse piracy, because we want to get sponsored. But no.
I endorse piracy.
Some members of the podcast may endorse it.
Hey, my stance is not the official podcast stance.
But yeah.
Hex makes this stance as a private individual. The views of Hex and Hour do not necessarily reflect the views of Untitled Podcast.
So wait, if we're doing piracy, can we at least get some rum here?
Hey.
But yeah. That was like that's like the only topic I remember off the top of my head from that document. Oh god. And now this is where we lose momentum. Actually, even though SP isn't here, I want to talk about the Ironwood thing with you, Isher. I want to throw you my opinion on Ironwood.
Okay, I am interested. I've heard from Fizz that you have interesting opinions on this that I might either agree with or absolutely disagree with.
So I believe he has a hero complex in regards to a situation where he sets himself up as the only person who can deal with the situation he put everyone in. Because, with the fall of Atlas that they're currently in right now, he's pretty much the only one who has the official means to deal with it, other than, the small gang of misfits known as the main characters, and
the Aesop he commissioned, and Penny, and Winter.
Well, Penny.
Well, but Penny,
left.
Winter, and the Aesops are basically extensions of him as far as he sees them.
Yeah. I was arguing that he was using them as chess pieces, and since everyone knows they're employed under him, he gains the glory. They're like, oh, Ironwood, how smart you are, or whatever.
The glory is still just such a sticking point for me. Like, he's so, like, thoroughly characterized to be motivated by paranoia, by fear, by, like, I don't know, just public perception seems to be an afterthought to him. The whole first half of the story arc was about how, like, the embargo and the mandatory curfew he was enforcing on Mantle had, like, completely sullied his reputation with the people of Mantle. He just does not give a fuck what people think of him.
I mean, let's be honest though, let's first start off with who he is as a character. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the Tin Man, Ironwood.
Mm-hmm.
the man without a heart.
I was about to say, hell, even in his song, in the song they gave him in the show, it's called Hero, and I don't remember the lyrics off the top of my head, but he pretty much says, "I'll make any sacrifice." Let's see, Hero lyrics, Ruby. That is not the song. I got Enrique Iglesias.
No, not quite the same.
The main lyrics that I'm referring to, deliver you from harm, shelter my arms, this fear will surely fade, know right now the plan I made will guide us home, we'll survive the storm.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other lyrics. Take my hand, here to protect you, nothing will stop me. Understand there's a sacrifice that I won't make, risk it all to keep you safe. Trust me to be strong, I'll be your hero, just hold on. Even though he might not be putting that as transparent as I'm saying he is, I just have a feeling that in Volume 8 and onwards, I feel like if Ironwood stays past Volume 8, he's going to be gaining more and more of a general hero complex in regards to it. Like, I have a feeling he's going to try and turn his reputation around on the people, where it's like, I'm the best guy around. You can hold your faith in me. Because there's been, what character started off as, like, Rocky as hell, and then there's some character in the review that started off, like, everyone fucking hated them, then they actually started, getting a bit of characterization, and then their true colors got revealed. I have a feeling they're going to go with that sort of thing with him in Volume 8, which is coming out November 3rd. And we'll probably...
Interesting. I would bet the exact opposite for where his character goes. I would almost bet that he would die. I'll be honest, I see him more as a 2-bit dictator. He rules through fear. He rules very terribly, too, let's be honest, especially in the context of a world where negative emotions summon literal monsters.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the things that I really thought about in Volume 7 when we were in Atlas and Mantle. Particularly, remember the scene when John was serving as a guard of kindergartners in their first day of kindergarten, because apparently the city is so infested with Grimm that there's a fear that a saber-toothed cat is just going to randomly attack a bunch of kindergartners.
Mm-hmm.
This does not sound like a well-run city he has, and it seems like every effort that he is making is not about making himself a hero, it's about making himself a man who commands a very strong military. Which, let's be honest, you could have called in Volume 3, when everyone else brought, 3 or 4 teams of 4 kids to the fight, and he brought an entire flying navy of airships.
Yeah.
Wait, the scene where John gets assigned to a bunch of kindergartners, wasn't that like a joke scene where he was trying to get a good job and all he could get was crossing guard?
That was fucking hunter missions or whatever, where it's like it's like this treacherous one where it's like, yeah, sure, I'll take that, and then they're like, now we're gonna fight a bear.
But still, it strikes me there are 2 ways you can look at it, because either way, they were assigning a professional soldier as a crossing guard to kindergartners. So either they're trying to, instill into the kindergartners the patriotic glory of being a soldier of Atlas, which is creepy in one way, or they genuinely do think that there's going to be a possibility of saber-toothed tiger attacks. And neither one of those is what strikes me as a good portrayal of Ironwood and his leadership.
You paint a very Orwellian picture, but it's still fucking John.
I paint an Orwellian picture of the guy who has cameras all over his lower city watching every move of his civilians. Let's face it, I don't have to do much painting here.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Okay. cutting off. Let's just say that the moment that he discovers that Cinder's there and decides, yeah, like fuck Mantle, we got to save who we can. That's where even like the most detached person is going to say, yeah, no, he's a fuck up. Yeah, no, that's like insane fascism. The earlier shit, like, there's a certain amount of it that was necessary for public safety,
Mm-hmm.
specifically the curfews, to a certain extent the embargo. I rewatched a few clips of early on, and like they allude vaguely to lower quality of life as a result of that, but they're also really, really vague about how that was implemented. Still, though, I mean, the cameras, the one time we actually see them being used, it's when Watts is like just strolling through the city, shutting them off because he knows they're a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Which again,
On the whole, this is dictatorship, this is fascism, but within this very specific context, means that he's employing because
Public
situations have become that desperate.
yes, but one has to ask, how did situations become that desperate? Like,
When a giant dragon attacked Beacon?
When humanity became so scared of the unknown that they summoned a giant dragon, and now they summon a giant whale.
well, but in fairness, remember, Watts, I gather, was thrown out of the city long ago, right?
What do you mean?
The electric guy who can shut off the cameras.
In the Volume 8 trailer they released a while ago, they show Watts being held in prison, being beat up by, guards with pokey sticks.
Well, yeah, because he was incarcerated at the end of Volume 7. Issue, you're talking about, like, backstory-wise? Like,
yeah, backstory-wise.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't, like, thrown out 2 months ago, right? He's been one of Salem's minions for a while, as I read things.
Mm-hmm. Actually, now
And
you
he had access to the cameras, remember, because he helped design that system.
No, that was because he got admin access through Weiss's father, who he rigged the election with.
I thought he had access to the cameras before he... Didn't he have access to parts of the surveillance system before he had the admin access?
No?
I gotta side with Isher on this. I just watched the episode, or like, what is it, second or third episode of the series, and he just, he says, well, thank goodness they didn't change the codes. I wrote them anyway.
Oh yeah, I thought he gained admin access through Weiss's father.
That was later, and that was for higher security stuff.
Yeah.
But for the
you're
cameras,
right.
which are what I'm contending about right here, he had access to them because he wrote them before he got exiled.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that the cameras were there long before the dragon was there.
That is a good point. That is a very good point.
So even
Okay,
if we
yeah.
don't go...
Was Ironwood still in rule at time? Was Ironwood still at rule when these cameras potentially got installed? Has it been established that he's been ruler of Atlas, or like whatever you want to call him? For how long now? Has there been like an established number?
I don't believe that's established,
You know
but
what? Let's see.
even
But
if they're
Watts,
not his
if I'm not wrong,
responsibility,
had a revenge thing against Ironwood, which means that he's probably been around at least long enough to have been the one that exiled him, Watts.
I would believe that.
James Ironwood. He has a semblance? What?
Wait, has that been established? What's he do?
Metal.
If the semblance is literally that parts of his body are mechanical, the writers of this wiki are just high.
Semblance. Ironwood's semblance metal strengthens his resolve, which allows him to carry through his decisions, helping James hyperfocus.
Huh.
Where the fuck was that established?
I feel like there was a very contrived bit of dialogue that someone is interpreting very literally.
Where the fuck was that
But-
established?
Back on the point about Ironwood being a somewhat fascist dictator,
Mm-hmm.
we can look at other things too, though, because if I'm not wrong, the oppression of the faunists in the dust mines was mostly in his kingdom, which was under his rule,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no, nothing showing that he at all tried to stop that.
I mean, That was under, wasn't that? That was under what's his face?
The Schnee Dust Corporation
Yeah,
under what's his face, Mr. Schnee.
Yeah, that was under Mr. Snee, and that was a private organization, right?
Yeah, but isn't it the job of the government to regulate private organizations and tell them things like no keeping slaves and no forcing your slaves to work in unsafe conditions while mining explosive dust?
Was that under? Was that under Atlas and thing, or was that like off? Was that like off ground somewhere?
Well, the Schnee Dust Corporation is in Atlas, so does it really matter whether they do their mining in Atlas or not?
Bear in mind that he was still beholden to the actions of the council until he declared martial law. So there is
True.
like a government he'd have to contend with, even if he did disagree with faunus exploitation or whatever.
True, but we've seen no indication that like he disagreed with that at all, nor have we seen any indication that he tried to do things like, you know, stop it once he no longer had the council to contend with.
Well, yeah, but faunists aren't real people. All the representation that we've seen from them so far is that they're either assholes or dumbasses or Blake.
Yeah, well, we've had Blake, Wizard Girl, Adam, was son of Faunus? Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And then there was the entirety of the White Fang, and then Blake's parents. Not exactly a great sample size in regards to trying to well characterize the Faunus.
There's also Bunny Girl and Marrow, I'd like to comment.
Oh, I completely forgot Marrow existed. I completely forgot that dude existed.
Actually, I have opinions on that. Like, I was getting the impression early on in the season that, like, they're trying to imply that in Mantle there's, like, tons of discrimination against the Faunus, that's still an issue. Heck said that his power went out, so he just disconnected.
And then Joey said he was making dinner, so...
Okay. So
it is the Ruby podcast now.
Go on,
But yeah, it felt familiar that, like, a few arcs ago they were trying to build up that Weiss was from Atlas. Weiss was complicit somewhat in the prejudice against the Faunus. Weiss in early drafts, I think, was supposed to just be straight up racist against them. And then with Ironwood, we see... I don't know. I got the impression early on that they were going to say, like, yeah, there is a systematic oppression against them in the government of Atlas. And then it's like, no! Ironwood owns the government. He's a pretty chill dude. He's got this dude Marrow working for him. It can't be that bad. It's just a few individuals who are racist. It's not a system.
In fairness, Marrow does have, or Ironwood does have his token faunist.
Okay, that's... Yes, this is tokenism in the most literal sense, but...
I also want to point out something. On the conversation we were having the other night, where we officially established we were going to do the episode, I mentioned how Ironwood has dual weapons. His dual pistols, due process. And he does in fact have two guns. A white gun and a black gun. Due process is a white revolver with a 6-barreled hexagonal cylinder, has overall bulky, brick-shaped design, and possesses characteristics of a revolver and a semi-automatic pistol. The other pair of due process is a black revolver which fires gravity dust bullets. The white gun is shown to be capable of firing explosive bullets. So there is in fact a white gun and a black gun, but the only difference, they're both white on the outside. The black gun is just like black just so it can show off the flower design it has on it.
Which is a nice flower design.
Mm-hmm.
I personally would like make some kind of engraving of, like, I don't know, the scout's mom from TF2, but you know, this works too.
Yeah, I just wanted to point that out because I was reading more on that page later. And I also really like his fucking weapon name, Due Process. That's really good.
That is a cool name.
Also,
Yeah,
he is
especially for a guy who doesn't do due process.
He is
Very self-aware of him.
He is 6'6", by the way.
It feels like, you know, having my new sword named Justice that I behead people I don't like with.
My word is justice. Therefore, if I don't like them, that's already a criminal violation.
Once again, I am reading.
Exactly. This one gets it.
I am reading his wiki page again, and so you know how this is. We should have established this a while ago. It's spoilers for Volume 7, even though we pretty much spoiled all of Volume 7. Volume 8 has, you know how in like the end of like Volume 7, how he like stuck his arm through the wall that Watts made or whatever, and you know went to go punch the dude or whatever.
I forget this.
All right.
But
Well, either
go
way,
on.
in the fight between Arthur and in the fight between James and Arthur, at one point he gets his arm stuck in a like electronic field or whatever that has to make him like
Yes.
rip his arm out to where it's all like red and shit. As of Volume 8, Ironwood's left arm is amputated and replaced with a black prosthetic arm whose appearance is much more muscular and designed compared to other prosthetics. So I guess it's the same people who made Yang's arm.
Huh.
Which I know we've been talking about Ironwood and his decisions, but I feel like we should talk about the main cast eventually, once we get all of Ironwood talk out the way.
First half of the story arc, Ironwood was the only one who I think made decisions that were controversial but somewhat defensible. With the rest of the cast, like, they were treating in the previous story arc like the worst moral failing you could possibly have is Ozpin withholding information that Salem was undefeatable.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately afterward, Ruby says, let's withhold that information from Ironwood. And suddenly, I don't know what moral compass they're trying to enforce here. Like, I'm trying to make this show on its own level, say, like, okay, what you're saying is right and wrong, is how these characters perceive right and wrong. And then they just have that, and I lose the ability to follow or make sense of these characters' decisions as having some kind of ethical backing.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say this. Fucking Ruby hasn't had character development in years. Like, in probably 2 volumes, Ruby hasn't had character development.
I was about to say years is not long in this one.
Let's say years is like from like volume 4 to like probably current time.
This is fair.
But yeah, in all honesty, they haven't had character development in a very long time. And that's kind of scary for the main characters, because I saw a video a while ago that was like, who are Ruby's main characters? Like, we have fluctuating main characters from volume to volume. It isn't about Ruby. It isn't about Yang. It isn't about the main Ruby team. It isn't about Team Junior. It's about whoever they introduce in the volume, like with Ironwood. Ironwood's the main character of Volume 7. Easy. Who is the main character in Volume 6? Fucking what's-her-face? Goggle chick. Cassandra?
Something like that.
Yeah. She was the main character in Volume 6. Or at least felt like it. Because she got a decent chunk of screen time, even though she had like one important line, which was, yes, Ruby, I will teach you about your silver eyes. That it took us 6 fucking volumes to get to. Come on. You know. Come on. I don't know. I don't know.
You have, your gripe is that they change their main characters too much, and you wish that they would just, like, focus on the main cast.
Yes, because we need characterization of our main cast. And if we don't get characterization, we're gonna have another Jean.
Meaning, story arc goes nowhere?
Yeah. I mean, what? His, like, main goal is now to avenge Pyrrha, which he hasn't had much on in a very long time. Like, what? He barely knew Cinder was there. When he attempted to fight her, he somehow got outclassed by Oscar. This show is so interesting in regards to. God damn it. You two talk. I'm gonna try and get my thoughts together.
How do I put this? It's not. There are shows that I have liked that have not had characters who either grow or become complex or acquire depth, there are other things that you can use to pitch it, but you're right, it's like a noticeable absence that, like, we've had Blake and Yang kind of like grow to almost have a
Semi-lovers.
relationship.
Semi-lovers.
We've had Blake and Yang flirt for forever, and they should just bloody kiss at some point.
I mean-
Let's put. I'm not gonna pull the plug on that one.
There was
You can
what-
pull your blows, Fizz, but
There was what in Volume 7, literally Nevermore. They're like, I made my choice, you made your own, found someone to protect or something or whatever. She's just flat out admitting, yeah, no, I like this girl, but I'm unwilling to admit it because I don't know. I guess we're still trying to hold Sun as a love interest, even though we haven't seen him since the beginning of Volume 6.
and we
They
haven't
kicked
missed
Sun out
him.
of the
Let's be
cast.
honest.
There was like the least subtle possible subtext when they kicked him out of the cast for with him just saying to Blake, like, yeah, you've got these guys instead. Like hintity hint hint, Blake and Yang.
Yeah. But
They don't want to be subtle about it, but they also don't want to commit. And they oddly enough made the decision that, you know what's more important to get out sooner than the Blake and Yang kiss? The Ren and Nora kiss.
But you know what's funny? I can-
Coupled with the most useless fucking character subplot that they gave to Ren, where he's like, no, I'm loyal to Ironwood, which just goes nowhere.
I want to talk about that because I was thinking about that in regards to why he did that.
Yeah?
You know, fucking Ren had a hard time growing up. His entire village was murdered in front of him by that one Grim. And I guess Ironwood provides safety and prosperity in his eyes or something. So he's like, well, I'm gonna be not so subtle about siding with him, and then eventually side with my friends once I realize, hey, it's either be left behind and be, you know, labeled as a criminal, or go with my friends who actually are willing to hang out with me. But I don't know. Now I'm just looking through Sun's profile because I miss the man so much. I bought.
No, I haven't missed him at all.
I
I miss his weapons. There's fucking, like,
Ryu,
what is it, lever action shotguns where he reloads them by swinging them around his nunchucks?
Ryu Bong and Jingu Bang.
Okay, I'll admit his weapons were fun.
Yeah.
He as a character was just annoying to me.
Yeah.
And this is from someone who likes Monkey King. Shit, this is from
Yeah.
someone who cosplays Monkey King.
Yes, this is from someone who likes Monkey King to the point of cosplaying him.
I mean, hell, I already bought the 2 volumes. I bought the 2 side story volumes just so I could read about Sun and Velvet.
I hear Velvet has interesting personalities.
She has a camera. I like the camera. I
Mm,
mean, if we can
the
bring,
one that copies weapons.
yeah, if we can bring back Flint and Neon in Volume 7, we can bring back Velvet and Coco in Volume 8.
Oh yeah, machine gun briefcase girl.
Listen,
Machine
I'm
gun
strapping,
purse
notify
girl.
your next kid, you're about to take her out a little on the blazing side. Sorry, I love caffeine.
Mm,
Damn it.
I also love caffeine, but in a different context than this.
Had a feeling. Yeah. Anyway.
So, I feel like we've done the Ironwood discussion we wanted to do. Want to bring it back to something that Joey and Hex can weigh on? Weigh in on?
Well, Joey's still eating dinner.
No, I'm back. I was cooking dinner
Hmm.
or making it. Sorry.
And I didn't know Hex got back.
There was only one more Ironwood comment that I wanted to make, which would work only for these 3 people. In terms of Kirby's comments as him as a wannabe hero person almost, how would you compare that to Skitter and her role as a wannabe hero who ends up being horrifyingly villainous?
Who was Skitter?
Main character from Worm. You should totally read Worm, by the way.
Oh.
Have I mentioned
I
that?
thought you read parts of it.
I read like a chapter and got bored.
Oh, never mind.
But...
We won't have this discussion then.
But Hex, in regards to your message, we'll probably make the next Ruby episode a couple episodes into.
You don't have to respond to me on the podcast, dude.
Listen,
You can just message me like I messaged you.
we'll talk about it. We'll probably make another episode a couple episodes into Volume 8. But yeah. Anything you guys want to talk about?
Well, weren't we doing like a waifu thing at the end?
Are we declaring this an end?
Oh, was it? I thought you said there anything you want to end on.
No, I was saying, is there anything you want to add to, or like anything you want to talk about?
Oh well, no.
God damn it.
Well.
Fizz, anything you want to talk about?
Should we retroactively consider Digimon to be an isekai?
There's a good
I'm
question.
sorry, what?
If you're going into the code, does that count as an isekai?
Well,
Like, I mean, it's certainly getting like spirited away to another world, but ooh, shit, is spirited away an isekai?
I mean, you're being transported into another world. So I mean, in technicality, we count as an isekai.
I
guess
mean,
my argument is more like, if we consider isekai to be this whole like fucking cultural movement within the anime community to create all these stories that have effectively the exact same bones, do earlier shows from, I don't know, let's say prior to 2000, can they retroactively be redefined as isekais, even though that term didn't exist when they were coming out?
oh sure,
even though
that
they-
happens with stories all the time. Why shouldn't it happen with other genres like animes? It happens with books. No one had any words like science fiction when Frankenstein was written, but let's face it, it's the first sci-fi.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, there's like so many. There's so many animes on my list that I actually have to watch that I can't really make any comments on regards to anime. Like I have.
Well, you can totally make comments while knowing nothing. It happens all the time.
I was gonna say it's very easy to do.
Oh. Well, I just want to talk about. Go ahead.
What I would ask then is, so wait, Digimon was the other thing. What was the other? Was one of the things? What was the other thing you were saying, Fizz? That you were asking if it was isekai.
The other one I was saying was Spirited Away, but I also want to add to that list Escaflowne, which was also a 90s show. Wait.
Oh, that's another anime that I love.
Totally is.
That's another anime I absolutely love the music to because it's Yoko Kanno. But,
Shit, yeah.
but it's like I never actually watched it. I need to still.
I fucking adore that one. Strongly recommend.
Without any spoilers, I would
It is a
consider
good show.
Escaflowne to be isekai definitely because it has the jump into another world. But I would not consider Spirited Away because, or at least I would be hesitant to, because that's supposed to be in our world. It's just she's seeing the magical side of things.
Well, then she also gets out at some point and just is back in the same world that she was in before.
Well, yeah, hero's journey, but like, I don't know. I think that like, if you're seeing another aspect of our world, but are simultaneously unable to escape back to the aspect that you're familiar and comfortable with, that feels like an isekai to me. Again, if we're taking a very literal definition where the bones of the plot are what define an isekai and not it being part of like a cultural moment or some shit.
Well, here's a other way of putting it though. Under that definition, would you say count someone getting kidnapped and trapped in fairyland being isekai?
It's journey to another world in a sense.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Well, consistent.
We're nothing but it.
There are.
Well, maybe not. But yeah.
I mean, there's only so far that you can stretch it. Like, if you're lost in the woods and can't find your way home, that's not quite an isekai, but, you know, look for enough gray areas, and eventually you're just splitting hairs.
Fair. I'm just, as the people who are talking with me would know, but listeners wouldn't. I just really like old fairy tales, especially the Celtic ones. So
It is the
interesting, you know. Thinking now, next time I read about someone getting kidnapped or a changed child being swapped out, I'll have to think: is this isekai?
It is the single most annoying thing about playing a Dungeons and Dragon game that he runs. So many goddamn Fae. I can't tell my name to anybody.
But yet you all have your names still.
Yeah, by a fucking miracle.
I am so
Because
Barnabas.
one of you was a stubborn asshole who just wouldn't give it over.
She had no reason to be. That was the only smart decision made in the entire campaign. And it was done by accident.
I am so Barnabas of fucking Nettle Job. I don't know. But
But that would have been so fun because the character was named after an attribute, so she would have lost that attribute of herself as well.
That... I didn't even know that was how that worked.
I mean, not necessarily in Celtic lore, but I'm willing to stretch things, especially if it would be really funny.
anything for the pursuit of comedy, I guess.
Yep.
But an anime that I think a lot of people should watch is Kagaguri. I know it's a pretty popular anime in regards to it, but I feel like a lot of people just don't talk about it because it's really hard to talk about, in all honesty.
Wait, is this the one Game Theory anime?
No, it's the gambling anime.
Yeah.
The
That's
gambling
the one I
anime.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, compulsive gambler.
Kaiji Light.
Do what the devil.
Kaiji Light. I don't know what Kaiji is.
The other gambling anime.
Oh, okay.
Kaiji's great. That's one you ought to see.
But it's just very hard to talk about, in all honesty, because there's just so much that's really. There's one chick I remember who has like an eye patch, and like she's kind of like a yandere in a sense, where she's obsessed with the main character. So she like challenges her to gambling all the time. They play like fucking Russian roulette, which I mean, it's no weirdness by any standards for anime, but it's just interesting to see in this context with how they do it. Because of course, we have to show how smart the main character is, so we're gonna, see how they cheat it every single time, or whatever. But either way, I just want to talk about Kagaguri for a second, how it's actually pretty interesting. But we're clearly running out of steam here. So
Wait, we had Steam?
Yeah, dude. What, you don't have it installed?
Fair.
I mean, yeah, dude. Just it's free, dude. Just give Valve.
Hey, I'm playing a game on Steam right now.
Of course you are. Just give Valve your credit card information. You can have anything on there. Or don't.
I mean, the kinds of games I play, something very easy to do while talking.
But
it's not like I have to, react quickly or anything.
Strategery.
Strategic. But I will say one thing.
Tropico 6 is really good.
Which one?
Tropico 6.
I will say one thing.
Probably my favorite in the series.
Are you guys ready to spout off waifus? Because I am.
I am.
I am.
Oh, fuck. I'm actually not. I was thinking about it for a second.
Good one.
I was thinking about it for a second. I was like, oh, wait. What the Oh, I know who I'm going to say. All right. Fez, go first since you're so ready.
All right. My waifu of the week is JJ Macfield from The Missing, JJ Macfield and the Island of Memories. The titular game that she's from is this really awesome puzzle platformer game in which you have to effectively use her boundless power of regeneration in order to dismember yourself and solve platforming puzzles in specific ways. And that self-mutilation, I guess, recurring motif is kind of used as a symbol for her own sort of, I guess you'd call it trauma. The underlying story of it is about how she is a LGBT college student in a relationship with another girl, and how when her mom finds out about her proclivities, things don't go so well with them. And I like to think that the extended metaphor is that the way that she's constantly changing herself in response to the trauma she's going through is meant to, be analogous to how we all feel the need to change ourselves when what we're doing is deemed socially unacceptable. And ultimately, the character arc she goes through is about how she's learning to take on that damage without letting it change who she is. And I just think that's so potent in a way. And basically, JJ Macfield and the Island of Memories, really good game, perfect for the Halloween season. Strongly recommend to anyone who doesn't mind, cartoon anime dismemberment with a lot of moist, crunchy sound effects.
Who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to say for this week, Kobayashi.
Wasn't that your pick?
This is a kind of obvious one.
Wasn't that your pick last week, or whatever we did?
No, that was someone else. I completely forgot who I picked last week.
Didn't Hex fuck up and choose the same person?
Yeah, that was me, dude.
I guess I'm gonna make Hex
in the episode that doesn't exist.
Right.
on the Lost episode.
Hey, I've got a real answer this time, though.
Okay.
I thought Joji was going though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, Kobayashi. That's it. I can't really go into depth here.
Titty.
I'm gonna feel like a huge nerd if I'm the only one who does a whole paragraph.
I hate to break it.
Well, I felt like I ought to have some sort of explanation. But my pick is Kay from Dirty Pair. She's fucking cool, and I think Dirty Pair is a really good show. Is a big part of it. But just that, just kind of being an incredible fuck up. Still really good at what she does, but
wasn't she the inspiration for Panty from Panty and Stocking?
I believe it. Yeah, kind of a fucking attitude. I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Not from. Oh, you looked her up.
Oh no, I did it. I was just doing a joke.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'll look her up though. K from what?
Dirty Pair.
All right.
I'll look it up too.
I haven't heard of this anime, so I looked the whole thing up.
She's the hothead tomboy. She's great.
Oh.
I look it up, and the first thing I see is only just a bunch of pictures of pears.
Yeah,
I finally got to her, and I understand why now. I see.
I looked up something else entirely. I looked up just the letter K and dirty PEAR.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right.
But is that what you had to say, Hex?
Yeah, she's great, and y'all should watch Dirty Pair, but not Dirty Pair Flash. That shit sucks.
She's a blonde in that for some reason.
Yeah, just total character redesigns, and that it just looks really bad. Dirty Pair Flash is bad, but everything else Dirty Pair is pretty good. The movie a lot, especially in the OVA series, are really really great. Classic '80s anime. I love that.
Isher, do you have a pick?
Had to do this on the spot. Didn't have the time to come prepared, but well, speaking of redhead and hotheads, I'll go with Lena Inverness, if only because I enjoy explosions.
Yeah, Lena Inverness is a good pick. I was just scrolling through my anime list, actually. It's like, okay,
Yes.
what shows have I completed? I saw
Slayers,
on
I
there,
have
was like,
definitely not completed because there are a million seasons of it, but wow,
Oh,
was
no.
it good fun, and I just somehow enjoy watching a random person go around blowing everything up.
I've seen the first season of Slayers, and that was really good.
The
I've
second season
seen
was
part of the
also
second
fun.
season. Yeah. I have like all 5 on DVD. I bought some like big collection of it at an anime convention or whatever because they had it for pretty cheap.
Okay. I think I left off at the um like third or fourth season.
Yeah.
I forget. It was on Netflix and then it wasn't on Netflix, and I'd kind of stopped watching it anyways.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, she has an android.
I think
Huh.
I think most characters have androids in all honesty.
Yeah, but she's so 90s. And her android still looks 90s. They got the eyes right.
Wait, let me see that.
While you're looking that up, my pick of the week is Miku from
Ooh, that's
the,
good.
the Way of the House.
Hatsune Miku.
No, it is not Hatsune Miku. It is not Hatsune Miku from the famous Domino's app. It's not that one. Have you heard of Hatsune Miku? Hi, president of Domino's here, but no.
I'll never. Yeah.
God damn it, Miku from The Way of the House Husband is a really fun character. She is an Omega nerd who literally makes the main character. I'm blanking on his name right now. But like
Tatsu?
Tatsu. That sounds right. The Way of
Did you know that The Way of the House Husband has a live action show in Japan?
and an anime.
Oh, really? An
Yeah.
anime? Shit.
It's coming up on It's coming up in 2021
Oh no!
from
Oh, I need to watch it as soon as it comes out.
from fucking Netflix.
Alright.
But yeah, Miku is the sort of nerd girl who. Let me grab one of the mangas off the shelf real quick. Also, just read The Way of the House Husband. It's a really good show.
You mean manga as well? You said read and then watch.
Read and watch. You can watch it. You can watch
True. The live action one's really good.
the live
too.
action too. But yeah, she's really into this like sort of Power Ranger Gundam type show. I think it's called Police like Magica or something. Police Magica or whatever. And like the main character literally looks like Sailor Moon. And she just sort of is like, oh my god, I have to get a photo with him. I found the exact chapter I'm referring to. I'm flipping through the mangas right now.
So we're gonna have a legendary Yakuza fight. 2 legendary Yakuzas.
Policeokur. Policeokur, that's what it was. Yeah, that's the show she's obsessed with, Policeokur. And in one of the chapters, they go to this like live show full of children, Tatsu and Miku. And he's like, alright, you two are having a gang war right now, so I'm gonna make you settle it out by drinking a glass of sake. And then he just does that. It's just really fucking funny in the context. I love the show. I love the manga to death. So, read it. But
Hello.
yeah, that's gonna be the end, I guess. We talked for over an hour. Holy shit.
Long ass.
Yeah, edit. Yeah, and feel free to edit any of this down. Maybe this should just be the Ruby episode.
Nah, this is gonna be whatever.
Yeah, this could be 2 episodes.
This is gonna be
The Ruby
listen,
episode and then the continuing chaos.
I literally started the podcast out as the Untitled podcast, whatever we want to talk about, whenever we want to talk about it, however we want to talk about it. So, I'm going to keep this an hour straight.
Okay.
You know what? It'll go better through the YouTube algorithms that way. They prefer watch time over, short videos.
You know what? That makes sense.
So,
I noticed that this also happens to be very convenient for you.
What?
Hey, if you don't edit it down, at least edit it so it's got not a blank screen.
Hey, listen, I had an image in the background.
Not a, either of the ones I've seen on your channel.
Well, yeah, because the one I did have an image in the background was the one where I was too loud, and we were talking about topics that we wouldn't want to upload on YouTube.
Yeah, okay. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it never got. Okay.
So it never got uploaded. Hey, I used to put a thumbnail on one of them.
Congrats, you met the bare minimum.
Congratulations. Can I get a gold star now? But yeah. Anyone have any parting words?
Go play JJ Macfield in the Island of Memories.
I have a single parting word.
I'll get around to that one. You did buy that for me after all.
Hey.
I have a single parting word.